Hi guys, in this video I thought I'd show you a weapon against the King's Indian. Well, actually I have two weapons to show you, and I don't know, they might be useful for you. I played both of these before with good results. So here's the start of the King's Indian, and the first weapon is going to be Bishop E2 first instead of going Knight F3. Normally in King's Indian, Knight F3 tends to be the main move, and in castles, Bishop E2, E5, castles, Knight C6, D5, and my other weapons in this line. But the first weapon I'm going to show you is this Bishop E2 idea, and I got this idea from a friend. We were playing the same tournament, and he was playing this against somebody, and I just thought he was trying to move order, trick his opponent. He has this Bishop E2 and a Knight F3 next move. So after his opponent castled, he didn't follow up with Knight F3. He followed up with a rather interesting move here. Okay, so he went H4, and it's just wow. He's just ready to start attacking his opponent. And the reason to play Bishop E2 is now G4 has enough support from the Bishop and Queen, and so after G4 he's going to go H5 and start an attack. So something like C5 is normally played, D5, and then say you bring the knight out, and G4's coming in, and it's not so easy to see how black defends against this. I've had people try doing this against me, Rook B8, trying to get some counter attack by playing B5, and then maybe this bishop comes into play. But this sort of position, you can take, after pawn takes, push the pawn again. So knight drops back, and then you play Queen D3, and already you're threatening to go Queen H3 and try and mate on H7. So something like Knight E5 might be played, Queen G3. Obviously this bishop protects the H3 square. Now we're going to go F4 next move, kick the knight, and then go, or just play Queen H4 and try checkmate on H7. So this is actually a very, very dangerous line, and a lot of players don't know what to do against it because they've already castled here. So it's not like, you know, you're going H4 and they could decide to go castle queenside instead. And yeah, the best move is to play C5, but a lot of players will play E5 just because it's a typical King's Indian move. And now after something like D5, this bishop's now also blocked in, so and now that knight can't get into the E5 square. And so I've had a game which will continue to something like A5, G4, Knight A6, so coming to this outpost on C5, on H5, Knight C5. Actually no, I played G5 first just to stop me having to defend this pawn. So when he retreated, if you go back to E8, I went H5, Knight C5, and already I have a very, very powerful position, and I'm ready to take on G6, open up the H file, and all I need to do now is just get my queen over to the H file, and at the moment I can't because this knight's on going to D3 square. So in this position I guess I could play Bishop E3, attacking this knight, take the knight, and then go Queen D3 and swing my queen over. So just something like Bishop D3. And even if you can't get rid of this knight, or you can't get your queen over, you can always just play something like Queen D2, castle queenside, and you already have a really, really nice attack on against black, and he doesn't really have much counterplay for it. You know, what can black do here? His position's very blocked in. So this is the first one I'm going to show you. So I definitely think you should try it out maybe on the line first, see how well you do, and then you can play in tournaments if you want. And the second one comes in this line, so we go Knight F3, castles, Bishop E2, E5, castles, Knight C6, D5, and now the main theory goes after Knight E7, Knight E1, Knight D7. So Knight E7 is preparing this F5 advance. And now there's two ways to play this line. This line involves F3, and then after F5 you go G4. That's the idea. Or you can play G4 straight away. It really depends on, because it transposes after G4. If they play F5, if they play F5, which is the best move, then we're going to go F3. So it just completely transposes. The advantage of playing G4 first is, I guess, now, well, it depends if you want him to play f5 or not. If you're happy with this sort of position, and they tend to go something like this, then this is quite a nice position for white to get. But if you play g4 first, and the black player might not be tempted to play this f5 move, you might not bother playing it. And you should, because you're trying to, he needs to open up your white king. But anyway, just look at what happens. f3, f5, g4. And now taking any of these pawns is no good. Okay, take, and basically what white's trying to do in this line is he wants to block up black's kingside attack. Because if he can block up black's kingside attack, he's going to go bishop e3, b4, c5, he swings rook to c1, his knight comes into this d3 square, and yeah, what we see in the normal King's Indian lines, it's basically a battle of who can get their attack in first. White goes down to queen side, black comes down to king side. So if we block up the king side, then we're going to win, theoretically. So here this is no good. Black's got no attack now. You know, these pawns stand actually very strong. Although, you know, the king looks weak. And here we don't need to protect these pawns. We can just go knight d3 and say, I don't know what King's Indian player would play here. I guess he might expand with a5 and a bishop e3. And we're already trying to play this c5 move. They might go b6, try stopping it. We're just going to go b4 and then c5 anyway. And it's very hard to see what black can do here. If you play something like h5, we can go g5, and it goes back, we go h4, and yeah, you can see that black's piece is just completely locked in this position. So the best move to do to play after f5, g4 is just to ignore it. And the best move is either to play knight f6 here, or you can play king h8, which is also another way to play. King h8, we're going to go h4. Knight comes to g8, so attacking this pawn. We can go knight g2, protecting this pawn. And although this looks like you're really weakening your king, it's very hard for black to actually try take this pawn. And you know, I can't see how he's going to do it. And if you go to something like bishop f6, then we go g5, bishop goes back, bishop e3, and once again taking's no good. And so they might play something like f4. You'll get f4 a lot, and this actually helps white hugely, because now the king side's pretty blocked up, and now we're ready to go b4, c5, and attack black's queenside. So this is one way black can try to play. You can also play something like knight f6, just trying to attack these pawns, but none of them are on pre at the moment because we have enough defenders, so we can just continue with bishop e3, trying to play our c5 idea. And yeah, very common in this line, especially when you go bishop e3. Black players tend to play f4. They don't like they don't want you to take on f5 and sort of mess up their pawn structure. They want to play f4, and we actually like this. We want them to play f4 because it's helping us block up our position. We go bishop f2, and once again h5. We just go like this, h4, and he's got to be careful he doesn't try sack on g5 and let the queen come in. So we can just play something like knight g2 next move if needs be, or just put a king on h2. I mean, even if he plays something like bishop h3 here, I mean, you can stop him winning the exchange with knight g2, but I'd just be tempted just to give him the exchange. King h2, he can have this, because now white has a monstrous position. His knight's coming to d3, rook c1, c5 is going to be played, and now this bishop's going to become really good after bishop h3. Just look how powerful this bishop is. It's going to stop any rooks coming to c8, and then it's going to enter into e6 as well, and it's just absolutely delicious diagonal for that bishop. So I'd probably sack the exchange in that position. So yeah, it is very hard to see what black's going to do, and the reason he plays f4 in a lot of his positions, and the reason it's better, is because now we already have this g4 move in. Normally we get this sort of position in King's Indian where our pawn's on g2, which allows him to gain an attack. So I'll show you that quickly. After f3, f5, the normal move might be something like you go knight d3, knight f6, bishop e3, f4, bishop back, and now this is basically what happens in the King's Indian, something like this. And they start coming in with g4, and we're trying to open up files on the queen side, try and getting on our pieces, attacking these squares and coming into the c7 square. Also attacking his a7 pawn. And yeah, black's just going to try to smash you on your king side. So by having this pawn on g4, you can already see the advantages that holds. So yeah, I played this line in British Championships, and I played in a couple of open congresses. So it's obviously not a bad line if I'm willing to play in the British Championship. So yeah, do try this out. I've beaten a couple of good, strong players with this. I think the highest rated player I've beaten is an FM. I've never played a GM with this line, unfortunately. I would like to do that, see what he does. But yeah, if you have any questions about any ideas black could play, then I'd be happy to answer them. Just leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.